Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Xavier of the Black Creatures and welcome to another episode of Thirsty Thursday. While I was on vacation earlier this month, I saw a movie I hadn't heard about before. I was literally looking up the synopsis on Google on my way to the theater. It said something like, when their soon-to-be valedictorian adopted son's reputation comes into question, these parents discover things may not be as they seem. Based on that alone, I decided to see the movie, and let me tell y'all, this shit had my eyes wide. On the surface, LUCE is exactly what the synopsis reads, but it gets layered and deep. Spoilers in 3, 2, 1. 10 years ago, LUCE was a child soldier in a war-torn Eritrea before he was adopted by Amy and Peter Edgar. And I admit, I don't remember if the movie talks about how he was a child soldier and how he got to an orphanage. But moving on. Amy and Peter spent years taking him to therapists and psychologists to create mental and emotional environments in which he'd be able to move on from the trauma of being a child soldier. 10 years later, he's the most popular person in his school. He's expected to be valedictorian, he's on the varsity track team, he's loved by everyone, etc. The plot gets spicy when his teacher, Miss Wilson, has a meeting with Amy to express her concerns about an essay LUCE turned in. The debate of whether or not the essay is a genuine cause for suspicion veers totally sideways when Miss Wilson reveals she found illegal fireworks in LUCE's locker. Now, Amy totally refuses any concern about his essay. He was supposed to write about an influential historical figure's ideology, and the historical figure he chose believed in genocide as a means of securing freedom. She knows her son doesn't believe in this kind of stuff. However, coupled with the evidence of the fireworks, Amy has an inkling of doubt surface. So, this is what I think is really cool. The fireworks are the first piece of suspicion that forces the audience to decide how they feel. In this way, the movie's really interactive. A character will exposit some suspicious information of somebody being harmed or threatened, and the audience is forced to decide themselves if it was LUCE or not. There are very few answers and directions, but ultimately the movie doesn't tell you where to go. It just drops you in the field and says, go. And then it asks, do you know where you're going? And only then you realize you have to decide where you want to go. Like, the fireworks are revealed to facilitate fear and danger, but then the movie goes out of its way to say that if someone besides Miss Wilson found them as well as his essay, they'd connect them to his background and draw a violent conclusion, potentially getting him expelled from school. Miss Wilson stresses it's important for LUCE to succeed. In this movie, suspicion is raised constantly. Is LUCE's contempt for Miss Wilson warranted, or is he targeting her? Was LUCE the facilitator or hero of Stephanie Kim's sexual assault? Did LUCE orchestrate Miss Wilson's sister's public breakdown? Many of these things could have been directly influenced by LUCE, or they could have just been coincidences that happened independently. But that's for the audience to decide. The audience's motivation to decide is somewhat paralleled by the characters around LUCE, but for him, it's just pressure, and it fills him with their expectations and perceptions, to which he describes as suffocating. The principal and the rest of the school see him as the poster boy for success. His mom sees him as someone who needs saving from the world that wants to shit all over him. And Miss Wilson, at first, sees him at a rarely seen chance at success. He doesn't think there's anything wrong with not meeting these expectations, as seen by his relationship with Deshawn, but it's like everyone expects him to live up to their horrifyingly high standards, and he's just afraid of how they'll treat him if he fails. There's an amazing scene where Miss Wilson and LUCE talk about stereotypes and opportunities and expectations, but I don't remember it well enough to write about it. The gist of it is, LUCE felt like Miss Wilson put him in a box. She says America put him, her, and everyone that looks like them in a box, and that his potential success is bigger than him and her because so little light gets into this box. I feel like in this scene especially, Miss Wilson represents an older black generation hoping for the best in the younger generation. Something interesting to note here is right before this scene, Miss Wilson just lost her job and found her reputation ruined after some fireworks went off in her desk. And from LUCE's perspective, he'll be able to succeed in the way that he wants to with her out of the school. From this, I concluded the movie's about all the eyes on young black people just trying to live. LUCE said it perfectly.
It's like I only get to be a saint or a monster.
But that's not for me to decide for you. At the time of filming this, LUCE is still out in theaters, so check that out ASAP, as well as all the links in the description to find and follow us all over the internet. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to quench your thirst every Thursday. I'm Xavier of the Black Creatures. See y'all next week.